the Ukrainian Crisis Media Center, and the topic of our current press briefing is the promotion of European values by the NGO Institute of Tax Reforms. We have Ms. Olena Hotenko, representative from the Ministry of Occupied Territories, and IDPs, Ruslan Anfilov from NGO Institute of Tax Reform is Andriy Zablotskii, Director of Post-Information Society Institute and New Country platform, and Ms. Olena Hotenko, Chairman of the NGO Institute of Tax Reforms. Probably other speakers will join us later. Good afternoon. NGO's Tax Reform Institute of Tax Reforms tries to promote European values and Euro integration process, and we have established the following projects: financial management for NGOs, simply about complex things, also the rating of budget transparency of the cities, and rating of investment attractiveness of the cities. And the third project is electronic governance, tax, electronic tax administration, etc. And we will start with first our project, rating of the cities. Thank you, Olena. I agree with you that today the cities try to reach new level, and decentralization suggests that more resources should be concentrated in the cities and towns at the local level. And today our objective is to create conditions for local communities, allowing them to make financial decisions, to project for economic development, to attract investments for the development of their territories. In Europe, there is now a trend that some cities which are sustainable units, they are of big importance for people than the countries themselves, and they are able to tackle quite complex issues. We believe that decentralization reform, more powers to the local communities, would allow the local authorities and local people to develop rapidly. In the Institute of Tax Reforms, we have broad experience in local communities, development in the budgets of local communities, and we know which tools they lack for efficient financial planning. Many of us know that the bigger issue for local community is to get more resources, to attract more resources. And here transparency, openness, and allocated local resources for development are very important. We can take two communities, compare them, and we will easily find that one of them is able to develop while another is absolutely not. Also, we believe that more foreign investment, direct foreign investment, would be also very beneficial for local communities. And local communities, by the way, they lack skills in FDI attraction. We should allow local communities to get this capacity. That's why we had introduced such thing as rating, which allows potential investors to understand the situation in this or that local community. I think that besides potential foreign investors, our internal investors are underestimated. I think that a lot of money now remain in the private households. They remain uninvested. And I think that with the investments, if we allow people to make investments domestically, they would raise their well-being. I think that our population, our enterprises wish to invest in the local communities which provide sufficient space for investments. In order to do this, we had launched our project of the ratings of the regions. The rating will be based on global accepted instruments adapted to Ukrainian realities. Within 2 tax periods, our experts will develop within 2 quarters of the year, our experts will develop this methodology, and in autumn we will invite the cities to join this very project. Similar project we had for the economic ETC journalists when we offered our previous rating project for them. I would like to add that rating of the cities and the idea rating of the cities came across when the International Local Communities Forum was held in Poland. In course of the forum, foreign investors suggested that they were unable to invest to Ukraine because of the high risks, but they are ready to offer small investments, but in small cities. And having heard from potential investors that they lack information about small Ukrainian communities, we understood that we are able to provide them with such information. Today, we encourage everybody to join to this our work. We would like to create an instrument for the local communities and for the potential investors, back it up with immediate information from local communities, and explain the investment opportunities at the local level. I would like to encourage you to join our project. Please write down to us. Institute of Tax Reforms. Now I would like to discuss the second project, financial management for non-profitable NGO, which is called Simply About Complicated Things. We've been dealing with this project for almost 2 years. We held 22 workshops for SMEs about new tax legislation, new customs legislation. We organized the master classes and journalists about journalist investigations, about commercial and economic journalism. And now we start training for NGOs and non-for-profit NGOs in financial management. This is a joint project of our NGO and the German government program implemented by GIZ company. We will explain taxation for NGO. We will provide consultations in tax reporting, train them in fundraising, project management, etc. We will train NGOs in specificities of taxation and accounting, about our labor legislation, volunteer relations with people, etc. That is what is an important tool for NGOs' capacity for transparency. In result of our analysis, we understood that many NGOs do not know how to tax their incomes, how to account for their incomes. Some NGOs reject from charity support in a form of material values because they do not know how those sponsors' assistance should be registered in their books. The project will be carried out in Zaporizhia, Kharkiv, and Dnipropetrovsk Oblast. These 3 oblasts were selected by GIZ partner organization. I would like to add that the role of NGO in the area of assistance and aid to IDPs is very important. IDPs had arrived from the region which experienced a shortage of NGOs, and having arrived to the new place of living, IDPs found themselves in a need to unite with other IDPs. And now we have to train them how to organize the activities of NGO and to explain to the members of NGOs what they can do in this life with the assistance of NGO, how to organize the collective effort, how to streamline their work for the sake of reaching the public goal. I think this is an important topic. Our German partners had chosen 3 regions where we have very proactive IDPs, and we hope that we will involve these IDP organizations in those regions to this project. We are ready to spread information about the future trainings. And the third project, which we would like to describe, this is e-governance. Mr. Andriy Zablotskii.
Thank you. This is a broad issue of the Institute of Tax Reforms. And now we should use the opportunities that information technologies provide in the governance and taxation, in management of assets, because we understand that the state is the instrument for redistribution of assets that society accumulate. And that's why society should have simple instruments to control the assets and to control redistribution of assets. And speaking about priorities in the development, in tax reforms, we come up with the projects that will help us in the future reform of the state and will allow the community, NGOs, and citizens to get quality services from the state and to get better understanding how the assets are redistributed, and this will reduce the opportunities for corruption, and it will change the approach of funds. Margaret Thatcher said that there is no government money, there is only money of taxpayers. So we create components for our future work, and as framework we took e-gov, and people know about it. This topic was studied, and we selected economic component in e-governance. This is provision services to population, services to business, simplification of economic transactions. One as was banned. This is an archaic system. This is the direct continuation of the Soviet system of tax management, and the next step after the ban of the archaic system will be the simplified approach to management of business activity concerning redistribution of taxes. This will be the big step forward, and if we are able to introduce simplified system of tax documentation processes, it will allow to increase the number of transactions that happen a day, and this will increase the increase in GDP of the country. Also, we have some topics and there was a system in the Soviet Union, a lot of mechanisms of so if you want to do something, you should get a lot of permits from the state. And this year we are going to work on simplification and automation of getting permits. Because because this is big window for corruption if civil servants provide these permits to people, and also we will promote, together with other experts, those who develop the same systems, because a lot of groups try to resolve these problems to simplify and provide automation to a system of permits. We should create automation for tax and financial reports. And the current legislation does not allow to carry out 100% legal business to generate profit. That's why we work to resolve these issues, and we want to simplify business transactions between economic entities to replace one as in order to provide better verification that will be done online without additional load to accounting departments and financial departments. What state needs is to fully modernize according to modern requirements, big data, and other systems. This is the analysis of economic transactions that will allow to simplify or to make more complex these activities and to plan economic activity in the state. And we believe that the state should minimize its intervention into economic activity of the economic entities, and also we should work with the population. This is automation of social payments and social efforts and control over state funds, and also all the services of the state that should be provided in accordance with the current legislation of Ukraine. This should be automated and simplified, because we have a powerful group who works on e-governance, and at the same time many of the services still provide confusion. That's why we should work more in order that a citizen could better understand the services that are provided by the state. And in 2 clicks, they will be able to get the service they need. So maybe you have questions, please ask. Dear colleagues, please address your questions. First, introduce yourself. Vitaly Knyzhensky, Day newspaper. I have a question to Zablotskii. In your opinion, if this sudden rejection of 1S, maybe it will create some chaos? First observation is that this was signed on the 28th of April, and now this is signed by the president. And all the decisions of the Council of Security and Defense, it is not sudden decision. And if you study this decision thoroughly, it doesn't ban. It provided some sanctions on the companies that own the systems. They ban to siphon out the capital and do some other things, and at the same time these sanctions should prevent the renewal of 1S system, because if this system belongs to the aggressor country, and this country can create a collapse of the system. This is a security threat, and we should have done this 3 years ago, and it's a question why we did it only now. And it is weird that the aggressor state didn't collapse the system. And 3 days ago, maybe about a week ago, some hospitals, some computers of the hospitals were blocked in order that they pay ransom. The same thing could be done with 1S, and so the system should be disconnected, otherwise they are under threat, and no one bans to use. They ban to renew it, and the funds of the citizens of Ukraine shouldn't be siphoned out to the aggressor state. This money otherwise can be used against Ukraine. If there are no questions, thank you and goodbye.